Water is essential for addressing any development issues, whether it's poverty, hunger, child mortality, infant child mortality, maternal health, HIV/AIDS, environmental issues. And when I first met Charles Banda, who's the central character in the film, he really talked about this, not in terms of the MDGs originally, it was just that his work in providing water to the people of Malawi was really addressing all of these other issues. And then as we worked together with the film, I became more aware of the MDGs, and there hadn't been a film made on water in the MDGs. So that's why we took on this storyline. And I ended up going to Malawi with an NGO, and by chance meeting Charles Banda. It was clear that Charles is a great character. He has incredible integrity, incredible passion, a great sense of humor, and he's very devoted to what he does. He really gives his life to it. So he seemed like a good character. And you can talk about the Millennium Development Goals in an abstract way and the statistics and everything. You can talk about global water issues, you can talk about development issues, but the reason that I do films, that I do plays, that I write stories, is to bring in the human element, because that's how we learn. We learn from stories, we respond to stories. That's how humans are wired. Charles Banda is a local Malawian. He grew up very poor. He was an orphan as a child. He grew up walking to school barefoot with a bottle of water that he would hide under a bush. So he knows what the reality is. And he was a fireman. He became a professional fireman, and he had a family and everything. And he was also driving a taxi, and he was also a preacher. And on Sundays, he'd go into villages to do services. And they often had to cancel the services because people were having all different kinds of illnesses. And he felt that he needed to do something else to serve people, and that the best way he could serve them is by helping them get clean water. He used that little bit of taxi money to do his first well. And then he got some funding from the UK, from I think a church group, and then he grew it from there. He just feels that everybody deserves water. And he sacrificed a lot to do it. He retired as a fireman and gave this his life. He was a fireman, now he's a waterman. Charles Banda founded the organization Freshwater Project Malawi in 1995. And since then, he's provided water to about 800,000 people. He just keeps working at it. And there have been years where it's been really tough, where he just didn't have any funding. But now he's getting in quite a bit of funding, and UNICEF funds a lot of projects, and a lot of international organizations fund a lot of projects. But we created a sister organization to help funding, because when people see the film, they often want to donate and then help build a well. So we've really helped build a lot of community wells at schools and community centers, and now we're working in partnership with an organization called Make Malawi to do wells at birthing centers to really help improve maternal health and child health. So he's really grown a lot. And he uses what he calls a social work approach. He never goes in and tells people, we need to put water in your village. He waits until the village comes to them and says, we need water. And he goes, really? Well, what are you going to do for it? What are you going to bring to the table? And they bring in local materials like stone, gravel, bricks. The village provides the labor, and he always creates a water point committee, and it's 60% women. So it has to be, out of 10 people, it has to be at least 6 women, because he really wants to empower the women and promote gender equity. It's a pleasure to be here in Barcelona, and I'm really grateful to the organizations for bringing the film here and bringing me here. And I have to say, I was really impressed with the attention of the audience last night. It was really a pleasure and honor, and I hope that all countries get involved the way that the people here have said, hey, we need to think about health rights in Africa, because there's a lot of resources in Africa. There's incredible wealth. I mean, we've extracted billions of dollars of diamonds, gold, silver, all kinds of precious metals, indigenous woods, all kinds of things, and the cultural richness. Why should people on the continent of Africa or anywhere live in dire poverty and not have clean water? It is a right. It's a human right. And there are just bountiful resources in the world, and there's no reason why people can't have these basic needs. So I think it's up to all of us to say, hey, come on, let's level the playing field and at least have the basic necessities of life. It's the least we can do for people who have so much.